Straight politicking. Alex Alonso 101 here with my co-host Munchie B, the mayor. What up, man?
Oh man, what's the deal? What's the big old deal?
Shoot, man. They just lifted the curfew here in the city of Los Angeles for the immigration protests that have been going on for the last, I don't know how long it's been. It's been a good week, maybe 7, 8, 9 days.
I was coming from No Jumper. Me and Lo, baby, we was on the freeway, and then we got the alert. It said the 110 freeway and the 5 freeway. They don't want nobody on the freeways. Curfew between 8 and 6 o'clock. I'm like, damn, they trying to keep the freeways clear too.
Oh yeah, 8 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Right.
Yeah, they don't want nobody out there.
But they're on the freeways. They talking about the 110 freeway, the 5 and the 110.
Yeah, they don't want people pulling up in caravans and things of that sort. Let me fix your mic real quick. But all that's over with. The mayor just declared the curfew over.
The mayor and the governor ain't rocking with the Trump agenda. You know what I'm saying?
Nah. They ain't messing with. Actually, one of Trump's decisions got overturned by a judge for him to use federal troops here in L.A. It got overturned. So.
Cause he deployed what 6, 7, 800, whatever to come out here, Marines, whatever it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not needed because California has the National Guard. California got its own soldiers. You don't need to send the most powerful killing machine on earth.
Hold on, California got this, what you mean? California got its own soldiers?
Well, every state has their own
National Guard.
Yeah, their own.
Okay.
Their own. They're not military. U.S. military.
So every state have National Guard.
Every state. Yeah, all 50 states should have their own soldiers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
They're states troops, not U.S. troops.
state troopers. Okay. So you could utilize that, and you trying to deploy 700 Marines.
That was what was used in the '92 riots. It was California National Guard that came in and started whooping ass on that last day that ended the riots. L.A. did not need any U.S. soldiers. Plus, it's illegal. Well, it's not illegal to deploy them, but they don't have arrest powers. They cannot do the same things that the LAPD and the sheriff do.
They can't do no detention, no detaining.
Nah, they can't. But they probably would have ended up doing it. Then it would have been a violation of the law.
So what? So they come out here just to what? Just to whoop ass.
Just a presence, a visual presence. I heard that when the Marines came, I think they might have been deployed briefly. They didn't even have their rifles. They didn't have a bullet in the chamber. They were unchambered rifles that they were carrying.
So they just run around empty guns.
Well, this wasn't empty. It wasn't empty. It just wasn't chambered, ready to shoot.
Okay.
You know, as where the LAPD, LA County Sheriff, for those that don't know, those guns in their holsters, there's one in the chamber. You know, there's one already in the chamber, ready to pop off.
Hey man, Trump got to be one of the most ignorant people I ever knew of. You know what I'm saying? Gangbangers included. Like that man is ignorant.
Hey, what did you think? Nina Berretta was. Remember we had Nina Berretta on last week. Go tap in with that episode of Straight Politicking. Nina Berretta from San Diego. She was kind of defending them.
I'm gonna say this about Nina Berretta. Nina Berretta is probably the first person I came across that defended Trump and then was making good points, right? And then didn't sound stupid. But then I told her the same thing I just said right now. You know what she said? I wasn't defending Trump. I was defending the truth. That's what she said.
Yeah. Well, I think Trump is definitely like violating laws. Like you mentioned, he's like the only president to be a convicted felon.
34 felonies.
Which is incredible that he got reelected. He completely inspired the January 6th riot on the State Building.
The Capitol.
The Capitol
March
building.
to the Capitol. And he incited that. He the only president that could say, just grab her by the PUSSY.
Yeah.
Right? Because sexual harassment, the easiest lawsuit to put down. this the president, the most powerful person in all 50 states, and he talking about just grab her by the PUSSY, and then he dislike immigrants, but the first lady, the woman that stand by his side, have broken English and is not from America.
Yeah, I think that's his second foreign wife that he's had. He's been married, I think, 3 times, but it's all contradictions, man. And they scooping up all kind of immigrants. Hey, they stopped a Mexican dude that was from L.A. They had it on camera. They roughed him up on a fence. He kept telling the cops, the ICE guys, "Hey, I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen," and they eventually let him go. But the fact that he got gaffled, oh, that was incredible.
And we have more breaking news tonight. ICE agents appearing to detain and question a SoCal man who says he's an American citizen.
That means any of us can get gaffled.
No, not really, because it ain't looking like the other immigrants is like really in danger. They just chasing anything that look like a Mexican.
I was thinking that too, but there's a lot of black people that are not citizens. There's a lot of blacks from Central America.
But these agents is hopping out, chasing somebody like they playing tag. But they just, if you look Hispanic, they just own you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus these Belizeans that you can't tell if they just like a regular black person from America or a Belizean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I actually had this conversation with someone where they were saying that I'm safe because I'm brown. I'm like,
right.
I'm safe because I'm brown, but there's a whole lot of brown people that are not citizens. So is ICE really going off of how people look?
That's what it seemed like, because they hopping out just chasing people.
Well, I think they're going to places where people are known to work to be immigrants. So they hit like a meat packing plant. They hit the fashion district. They hit a couple of.
Well, how do you explain the graduation? Is this like a Mexican school? They invaded the graduation.
Shoot, I haven't been able to keep up with all the locations, but I if that's what it is, that's funny. That a guy like me and you and I are safe because of how we look.
I could be Trinidad, and I got the complexion I got, and they go walk right past me.
Man,
but
you could be from 10 different countries.
And they go push up on Hector because he from El Salvador. He look like one of them.
Well, they gaffled up a U.S. born Mexican that spoke perfect English. I think he had to whip out an ID. And he did a little interview shortly thereafter, and he said, "Hey, man, if they could do this to me, we're all."
This man says he told federal agents over and over that he's an American citizen, and it made no difference. So now he's wondering tonight if this could happen to him, who else is it happening to?
I'm American, bro.
This face-to-face encounter with ICE agents still has Brian Gaviria shaken. That's because he says he's an American citizen.
East Los Angeles, born and raised, man. I'm American. I stated I was American. He still attacked me. We're not safe, guys. We're not safe in America today. Be careful.
Gaviria says he was working at a tow yard on West Olympic Boulevard in Montebello when he heard ICE agents were outside.
I stepped outside. An agent came up to me and approached me, and he started walking towards me. I stated I was American 3 times before he even grabbed me. I said, "Brother, I'm American. I'm American. I'm American."
He says the agent asked him what city and hospital he was born in.
I said, "I don't know." I said, "I don't know." And because I didn't know, he threw me to the gate and he twisted my arm. My homie was born here.
During the encounter, he says his friend, also an American citizen, was rough-handled by federal agents.
I see my friend stating that he's an American. He gets slammed to the floor. He's bleeding from his forehead. I want to jump in. I want to defend my friend. ICE agent looks at me, racks a round into his AR-15. I can't win that battle, man.
Gaviria says the agent took both his phone and real ID and only let him go because his friend started filming.
I couldn't sleep last night. Let me tell you the truth. He took my ID. He took my phone. He never gave back my ID. Is this guy going to come and pick me up at 2, 3 in the morning? I don't know.
Gaviria says he won't be silenced about what he calls blatant mistreatment his community faces during these raids.
It doesn't make me happy. I don't want to be in this position. I don't want to have my face out there like this, but I have to. My people are getting attacked. And yeah, I'm American, but I'm Latino as well.
But you don't think we're all vulnerable to it because of our skin color?
So how far did it go? After the ID, did they let
they let him go, and he was able to do an interview right there, but they gaffled him for at least 10, 15, 20 minutes. I don't know how long it lasted because, of course, the news edits, they edit it, but he could have been gone. He could have been deported. And there have been reports of U.S. citizens being accidentally deported.
Hold on. So how do the ID prove that he a citizen? So people that's not nationalized, they don't have IDs?
Well, if you have a real ID right now,
A real the
the
newer
real,
ones.
and I mean not real like it's real and not fake.
No, I'm
That's
talking
what they're
about the
calling it. Yeah.
The new IDs.
The new IDs are called the real ID. If you have a real ID, which I don't have one yet,
Me neither.
but if you have a real ID, you've proven citizenship with the government.
Okay. My name is Askari. It's a Swahili name. You feel me? Don't get up on me thinking I'm from Africa.
Oh
well,
man,
I am from Africa, but don't think I'm originally from Africa.
what if you get mistaken as a Tanzanian? That's what they speak. What language is your name?
Swahili.
Swahili. Yeah, they speak Swahili in Tanzania.
Well, I got a lawsuit on my hand. I'm suing.
But check it out. You can't sue the federal government. That's the only problem. They have
Somebody gonna get sued.
They have qualified immunity. You can't sue the FBI,
Somebody gonna get sued.
ICE, Homeland Security.
It's a loophole with this.
Nah.
Somebody, bro, if you gaffle me up, because my name is Askari, my name is Swahili, and send me back to Africa.
Hey, if there's any lawyers out there that know of a way to sue the federal government, please tap in with us, because the way I understand it, the federal government is immune to any sort of prosecution, lawsuit, by the citizens.
Please tap in.
Yeah.
My name is Askari, a Swahili name, and I dare y'all mess with me. I'm suing. It gotta be a loophole. That's a fat bag.
All right, so since we're talking about this immigration protesting, you know what's funny is Steph, she went to the protest. All three of my kids were at the protest, and she told me there was very little black presence out of the tens of thousands of people there. And I didn't go. I was working. And I'm trying to figure out, like, why is there a lack of black support for this issue when it's the other way around? Mexicans are riding with black folks on black issues all the time.
That ain't all the way true.
Shit, look at the footage. In 65, the Brown Berets were there. 92, just look at the footage. Mexicans were everywhere.
Well. I never met him, but shout out Teasy. He a rapper. He from Southside Compton Crib, and I ran across something on his Instagram. I'm like, that's true, right? And he said, he said to my brown brothers, this ain't verbatim, but to my brown brothers, I ain't talking to all, but talk the gangsters, the criminals. You know, when we in jail, and y'all sticking by them white boys, and y'all clicking up with the white boys, and y'all going against the blacks, the niggas, and getting on us, trying to jump on us and be violent towards us. Remember, it was the blacks out there with y'all on the laundry. He's talking about when they was doing their thing in Compton. The blacks were standing with the browns on the laundry. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a white boy in sight. So remember that. These to the Mexicans that be in jail, and y'all got alliance with the white people. They not out there with y'all. It's the blacks. So I mean, and then I heard Joe Moses was out there protesting. RJ was out there protesting with him. So I mean, maybe it thinned out, but I think at one point the blacks was out there with the brown brothers. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, if they were in small numbers, and I remember I was asking my kids, and I was asking Steph, like, what's up with the black folks? You see them out there, and Steph told me that they weren't present, and it's to the point where they're not even needed, because there's so many Mexicans and Central Americans, they're not even needed for the protest, and that's kind of disappointing to hear, because when it's gonna go down for a black cause, and black numbers are definitely smaller, they're gonna need some Latino and Central American people out there pressing the line as well. And I don't think it's gonna. To me, this demonstrated a large divide between the black and Latino community in LA. I think it's gotten even larger.
But I think people seeing people stances on certain things, and then it's thinning out as far as, you know what I'm saying, the support. But I still don't agree with all this ICE raids and especially going to churches and schools. That ain't cool. And you know what I'm saying?
Did you see, I think at one of the schools, some kids, maybe they were like 10, 11 years old, they were being handcuffed or zip tied by ICE.
You don't zip tie kids, bro. You don't zip tie kids, bro. That never broke a law. That's crazy. That ain't the way you detain or obtain. You don't, that's not the way you handle children, bro.
Yeah, I think that it's been a big failure for the Trump administration and these ICE raids, because what I was thinking the other day, they're going to farms, they're going to meat packing plants, they're going to sweatshops. Who's going to do these jobs?
But they said they was looking for the criminals.
They're gone beyond.
So now they going beyond that.
They're gone beyond. I think Whittier, there was a raid about 3 days ago where a young man saw ICE parked across the street, went into, I believe it might have been a garment shop, sweatshop type thing. He went inside and warned everyone that was working in there that ICE is across the street, and at least 10 to 15 people left and were able to escape it. But the people that didn't leave got scooped up. And none of them were criminals. None of them were criminals.
And that's the reason why they didn't leave, because they felt they were safe because they wasn't criminals.
What's typically a packed parking lot filled with vendors and shoppers now sits relatively empty after a large ICE raid shut down the Santa Fe Springs swap meet Saturday afternoon.
It was a very chaotic scene. In our so many years of working here, we would have never imagined ICE would show up here or we'd see them here at our work.
You're looking at exclusive Air 7 video of the raid unfolding off Alondra Boulevard. Around 3:30 p.m. Saturday, dozens of ICE agents were seen walking through the swap meet. Witnesses say they seemed to randomly go through the crowd asking questions. At one point, we saw ICE agents take at least 2 people into custody. But signs of the raid started hours earlier. At 9 a.m., Araceli Lopez and her boyfriend spotted ICE vehicles at a nearby gas station.
We arrived to the swap meet at 9 a.m. to work for my grandparents and parents. Me and my boyfriend saw ICE outside of the swap meet around 9 a.m. It was about 4 to 6 ICE trucks, and they had the Ford vans behind them. They had about 2 of them, and they came driving down towards the swap meet.
I go in there running. I let all the vendors know, hey, ICE is here, ICE is here. I made 2 families leave on the spot. And basically the manager had stopped me at one of the vendors I was at and tried to silence me. She said I wasn't able to go around telling people that ICE was outside. We must have probably saved 10, 15 plus families because they thanked us. They thanked me for coming in and letting them know because they caught family members. They were able to get out themselves. So who knows how many people would have been taken in yesterday if it wasn't for me to go in and tell everybody.
It's kind of sad. We don't know if this is ever going to work for us again. We don't know the backlash the swap meet is going to receive, or if it's ever going to, if times are going to change, if the ICE is going to be as hard, then we can't continue to work here.
I'm surprised that anyone would have stayed. But also, you know, you're thinking, okay, they're outside, but are they going to come in here? There's a lot of other buildings here. But nah, they went in there and started scooping people up. So it got real, and
I don't know why they would stay. That's stupid. That's stupid. Why would?
Yeah, I know people that don't even want to go outside that are from
different places.
Yeah, they're from Central America. Most of the people I know that aren't citizens are from Central America. They don't want to go outside. They don't want to go to the store.
That's smart. Y'all let this shit blow over.
All right, so since we're talking about this, I want to mention some arrests. Now, the feds, they made some arrests and charged some people with federal charges, but then the LADA, Nathan Hochman, announced some arrests too. They really think they're doing something. This is an article from KTLA 5. LADA Nathan Hochman announced felony charges against several individuals, including one man who allegedly threw a rock at a CHP vehicle.
That's a felony?
Yeah, and set another one on fire. Okay. For their actions during several days of ICE protests in downtown LA. The DA first pointed out that charges were filed against a relatively small segment of thousands who were demonstrating. And they have photos here of three CHP vehicles that were on the 101 freeway parked under the under one of the street bridges on fire. And all I got to say is when there's protests, there's always going to be a little violence. I don't know how you have a protest without conflict. That's like, hey, this country wouldn't even exist. The United States of America wouldn't exist if George Washington and his crew of people didn't turn up and protest violently against the British government. You know, our existence is based on violent protests. So when people want to protest and it comes with a little violence, I don't think you can stop it.
We from Cali where you ride, not rally.
Yeah. Okay, so they arrested a guy named William Rubio, 23 years old, charged him with two felony counts of assault upon a peace officer and use of destructive device to injure or destroy. They arrested Terrell Tillis, 30 years old, of Wilmington, charged with one felony count of possession of a firearm by felon and one misdemeanor of giving or receiving a large capacity magazine. Antonio De La Rosa of Linwood was charged with one count, a felony count of discharge of a laser at an aircraft. Would be a helicopter.
Right.
Freddie Lee Baldwin, that sounds like a brother. Definitely doesn't sound Latino. 39 of L.A. was charged with one felony count of second-degree commercial burglary. Oh, yeah, he was riding. He was not riding, looting.
Trying to get it in.
Oh, actually, it says here he got caught on Broadway, forced himself into the Apple store. Okay, and then Adam Palermo, 39, was charged with 4 felony counts of assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer and 1 felony count of arson and vandalism. And one of the things that I noticed on the video when watching the protest, the police would throw tear gas into the crowd, right?
Right.
It would land on the ground and it would start smoking. Some of the guys would kick the tear gas
Go back over there.
back to the police skirmish line, and the police are complaining that they're being attacked by gas.
Gas they through.
Gas they threw. I don't know if that's I don't know. I don't know about how I feel about that. I don't want to say that, I wouldn't with my kids.
How we know how we feel, but how the courts gonna look at that?
Oh, they're going to say that that's a felony.
Right.
Yeah. I wouldn't tell my kids to, kick the cans back, but I don't see a problem.
Shit.
I don't see a problem. Hey, you're throwing tear gas at me. I'm just standing here in the street protesting, haven't committed a crime.
That should be easy to beat, though. It's like I was kicking it to get away from me.
Exactly. I was kicking it, but some of it is hilarious. You see these guys running up to it, kicking it like a soccer ball. Like the only your purpose is to kick it right back to who threw it at you. And these guys are masked up, they're hoodied up, and they're still getting identified.
Somebody snitching.
Well, the one I watched how the guys that threw the fire Molotov cocktail over that bridge onto the CHP car, they were all pulling out their phones and doing something. So this is a federal case. I didn't read that one. They when I was reading the indictment, it said that they went to either Meta and asked them for all the videos that were going live or the videos that weren't even live that were shot at that location. And they were able to link videos to the owners of the cell phones and identify people who were in masks and hoods. So the problem is, don't videotape, don't pull out your phone, don't go live, don't record while you're in the middle of a protest.
That go for these gangbangers and the rioters.
And when you look at the footage of them throwing the stuff over the bridge onto the car, you see at least 3 or 4 people with their phones out.
So they documenting like Alex do. Do you look at the same?
What you mean?
Alex go out there and he document what's going on. So you look at that the same what they doing?
Well, here's the difference. If I documented it and then I posted it and then the feds called me up. This has happened to me before. The feds call me up and say, hey, can you give us some detailed information about that footage that you shot? And I usually tell them I cannot. If you want the footage, you're going to have to subpoena it. You're going to have to, go to a judge and force it from me. I'm not just going to voluntarily turn over my footage to you. And and the media protects us. We don't have to cooperate with law enforcement in investigations if you're part of the media. You don't have to reveal your sources if you're part of the media. They can try to get it from you, but you don't have to. So if I recorded some people, first of all, I wouldn't have no GPS on the video, and it wouldn't be linked to my phone. It would be linked to a camera which doesn't have an identity. If you're recording on your phone, there's metadata in that video that links that footage to your phone, which links into the owner of the footage. It gets real technical. Especially if most people's phones are in their name, right?
Right.
Except, check this out. My kids' phones are all in my name because I bought all our phones together. When my kids were communicating with a kid that got kidnapped,
they called you.
Who the police come knocking on their door? They came to my door. Yeah.
Like for Alex Alonso.
Even though it was my kids communicating with the kid that got kidnapped, and I got accused of an Amber Alert situation.
Did that kid ever come up?
Yeah, that kid came back up, and the police was trying to run a guilt trip on me because they said we need you to come down to the Wilshire station and answer some questions about a kidnapping. And I said I am not voluntarily going to no Wilshire station for some question. He said, well, look, there's kids missing. It's a kidnapping. You say you didn't do it. These kids can be in danger. They could be possibly getting killed. We need your help. And I'm like, look, I care about those kids. I really hope that they make it out. But right now, my priority is me. My priority is me right now. And you guys are making me feel like a suspect. So I'm not coming down to the station.
I think that was a good decision.
Yeah. And I heard the cop on the phone outside my door. He's on the phone talking to somebody. He's like, yeah, we contacted the suspect. And I'm like, wow. I'm a suspect in something I didn't do. So, no, it gets real technical. I was mad at T-Mobile for sharing all my information with the LAPD.
Mad at T-Mobile?
Yeah, I really was. But T-Mobile has to honor the requests.
Cough it up.
Yeah. So they gave up all my information. They gave up, and they came to an address that my phone bill wasn't even, my phones weren't even addressed to that address. So
did they go to where your phone was addressed to eventually?
Yeah, they went there first.
Right.
And then I guess they did some other research and found me at another address.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I really wanted to know how they found me, but I already know they got access to all these databases.
For sure.
Yeah. And then he had a picture of my DMV picture on his clipboard, like an 8x10 picture of me. And he got that from the DMV. So they got access to everything. So, I mean, if you're in a protest, if you're in a riot, I think the worst thing you can do is pull your phone out and start recording, especially if you're going live. If you're going live, you're screwing yourself. If you want to record the video, fine, save it, keep it for yourself. Don't post it. You go live, guess what? They got all the metadata.
I don't know, man.
Because your location is also on your phone. You have location services on. So as soon as you go live, Meta, Instagram, Facebook, they know where you're at.
So this is gonna make YouTubers, people do content thing twice if they, you know what I'm saying? Because you recording and you might be going live, screen recording or whatever, and it's going to a database, or they just don't give a F.
If you're going live, it definitely goes to a database. It goes to Instagram server. It goes to Facebook server. Don't go live. But I don't think people are really thinking that far in advance, right? You're not thinking, let me go live here while I throw this Molotov cocktail over this bridge and land it on this CHP car. You're probably not thinking that.
Couch chasers, you know what area this is. I'm about to throw this brick over the bridge and let it land on the patrol car and record it.
And the dudes are covered, they're masked up and hoodied up, so you can barely see who they are, but they all got ID'd.
They gonna have a witness say who it was under the mask, and then they gonna throw a large number out there, and then the person gonna tell, man, it wasn't me, it was DeAndre. Like, you know what I'm saying? No, for real.
Well, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus just yet,
Man.
But there was one guy that got charged by the feds who, I don't even know if this is a crime, but when I was reading the indictment, I was like, wow, this is deep. This guy had bought a bunch of masks, I believe, off of Amazon, like masks to protect your face from the gas.
Right.
Not just the face mask, like gas mask. So I looked up the gas mask. It's a $36 gas mask. It was a cheap one because they go all the way up to like $200. But he had a bunch of them in his truck, and he was giving them away to people in the protest. And in the indictment, it says that this means he was involved in criminal activity because he was giving out masks.
So what would that be considered, like aiding and abetting?
I don't know, but I think I would wear a mask. If I went to the protest, I'd wear a gas mask. They throwing tear gas in my direction. I got hit with tear gas when I was in Minneapolis. Man, that shit stings. So I don't see no problem with it.
Hey, it seemed like, I don't know. It's a gang of damn if you do, damn if you don't things going on, right? You want to stand for the people, and then you go mess around and go to jail. Then some people want to document it because it's history, but then you do some dry snitching and then go to the database and like it's a gang of like, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's the technology is so advanced right now. Downtown LA, you have to know that there's also cameras everywhere.
Ring cameras go straight to. They got a whole database for that for sure.
So I don't know why these guys would even pull out their phones, but yeah, that was a big part of how the guys got ID'd was their phones.
Even with masks.
Even with masks. In fact, one of the guys that was masked up when he got busted, they showed a photo of him in the truck, and he's wearing the same shit from the riot. He's wearing the same shit he had on. He had a mask that wrapped around his face, and he had the same thing on.
I hope that was the same day. He just didn't bust no repeat and got cracked.
I don't know if it was the same day.
Man, god damn, gotta be more careful.
But I don't know if I don't think all of these guys are gonna do any serious time. And guess what? When the new president comes in, after Trump leaves office, if these guys do get maxed out, what's that new president gonna do for all these guys?
Nah, he ain't go. What's the word? He ain't go.
Oh, he got to pardon them.
Why?
Because they're out there protesting against Trump and his immigration policy.
Oh, okay.
So the next president has to pardon all these people, especially the ones charged by the feds. Now these that are Nathan Hochman are charging, unfortunately, won't be able to get pardoned.
Man, I don't know, man. It's some cold times, bro. But I know this. Trump need to hurry up and get up out of here, bro. He's the most ignorant person on the walk the earth. And then I never met nobody like Nina Berretta who could what's the word?
Well, you said that she was making some good points in his defense.
That's why they go tap into the straight politicking episode with Nina Berretta. She made sense. Like a lot of people that try to defend Trump, it don't make sense, but she was making some good points. You know what I'm saying? But I wish you would have brought it up then that he was zip tying kids.
Yeah, I saw that the next day.
Yeah, so like I wish you would have squeezed that in, but
I don't think it would have mattered. She's gonna support who she wants to support.
Nah, she could support him, but she wouldn't have no rebuttal for that.
All right, let me play this little clip about these guys getting charged by the county, or I should say by the state. Keep in mind there are guys being charged by the feds, but these guys are being charged by the state. Let's see if this will play here.
And when I say relatively small segment of people who committed criminal violations, these are people for whom the protest was a cover. They weren't interested in protesting. They weren't interested in joining.
Okay, I want to say something about that. There are people that come to protest to turn up. And to me, that's part of the protest.
Right.
Not everybody's going to be standing on the sidewalk waving their signs and just being peaceful. Right. I've never heard of a successful protest that was nonviolent.
You never heard of a successful, peaceful protest?
No, it doesn't work that way, Mr. Nathan Hochman. Let me continue.
The tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that wanted to legitimately voice their concerns about what's going on in society. This smaller group, which numbers probably in the hundreds, not even in the thousands, this group wanted to commit crimes. They looked at the protest as a cover, an opportunity to go ahead and ply their illegal trade and commit a whole variety of crimes that in many ways has done a huge disservice to the legitimate protesters out there. And what you're going to hear is that sometimes those legitimate protesters have reared up their heads and helped us identify these criminals.
There you go. You said that some people are telling, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true, though. The legitimate protesters have snitched out the protesters who wanted to turn up.
Yeah, man, because they might feel like Brandon off of No Jumper, and he said they're a bunch of idiots. Why are you knocking down the same people that support you? Those ain't the people you're supposed to be looting on. So maybe them the people that's calling in.
All right, let me play this last part.
because the media would only like to focus, quite candidly, on the fireworks being exploded, on the motorcycles running into law enforcement, on the incredible graffiti that is in many ways destroyed or certainly desecrated our historic buildings, on other situations, and you'll hear some of these additional charges being described today, of these few numbers of people who want to make it seem like Los Angeles is under siege. It is not. As I said before, 99.9%.
All right, we had enough of Mr. Nathan Hochman. We obviously, I've never seen a protest that didn't have a bunch of graffiti written after, because I usually go in there and I love taking photos of the political graffiti that people express on these buildings. That's just part of it. It's been like that for decades. The shit that people, the DA is complaining about just sounds ridiculous to me.
So the DA is not on the same page as the mayor and the governor.
Well, I think the mayor, she's not as aggressive in her criticism of the protesters, but she has to say that we want a peaceful protest. She has to say that. Hey, there was a politician in the 90s, a black woman, I can't remember her name. She was giving an interview, and she basically said, go out there and turn the F up. I forgot her name. I'm going to have to look it up.
She was a what?
She was a black woman, politician here in L.A. She said, go out there and turn up. And she got highly criticized for that.
Well, if you criticize her, you got to criticize Trump. He incited that whole Capitol thing.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, man.
Got to.
What else did I want to bring up here? Okay, we could talk about your boy. Let me see here.
Whenever you introduce him as your boy, it ain't your boy.
That is true. Well, I wanted to talk about your boy 600.
Oh, okay.
600, man.
I've been saying, man, you is not a professional boxer. You sized up and you did some training with people. You're not a professional boxer.
Technically, he is, though.
You're not, skill set wise, you're not no. And why you got to go so far to fight? Why you can't get a fight in Vegas, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So he went to Germany for this most recent fight against this guy named Victor Faust from the Ukraine. And I don't know if you know about the Ukraine, but Ukraine is a place that really breeds fighters. I mean, they're also a place that breeds a lot of soldiers. They're actually fighting Russia right now. There's a war with a lot of the Ukrainian teens that are being recruited to fight this war against Russia. You know, they recruit you young. So it's a brutal, tough, rugged place to live.
Hey, man, I'm trying to get somewhere to stencil my passport. I'm glad you said that. I would not go that way.
Oh, no, you don't want to. I think it might be on the U.S.'s list of be careful if you go visit the Ukraine.
Do not travel list?
Yeah, do not travel to Ukraine, but not because of the people of Ukraine, because it's in turmoil right now.
They politics.
Well, I feel we should be on the side of Ukraine. Ukraine is broke away from Russia. Russia's saying that Ukraine is our land, and they're just fighting over territory. And Ukraine is the smaller of the two, and I believe the United States is secretly, well, I don't know if it's secretly, but they're definitely backing Ukraine in their fight against Russia. But Ukraine is a place that, hey, when I see a fighter, he's from the Ukraine, I'm like, okay,
he whooping ass. He
might, yeah, he might. Not that every fighter from Ukraine is, but yeah, Ukraine is known to be very successful in the ring.
Right.
Okay, so this guy. So let me give you some stats on 600. He's 41. His record is now 20-2.
So this is the second fight he lost.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. All
yeah. Right. I think he's 20-2 and 1. I'm not sure what the one is, either a tie or a disqualification. He's listed at 6'5", which is, he looks about 6'5". He's a big brother.
Right.
And check this out. Yeah, in 23 fights, so yeah, he's 20-2 and 1. In 23 fights, he's only fought 32 rounds. So that means that each fight is lasting less than 2 rounds. So he's not doing no boxing.
So he out there getting his ass whooped and throwing fights. It sounds like.
Or Well, he's got 20 wins, and most of the wins are in Mexico.
Could we see the highlights of the wins?
Well, a lot of those fights in Tijuana that are done in like a bar,
Right.
in the back of a bar.
Hold on. A professional fighter fighting in the back of a bar.
It's possible. And, yeah.
Man. F out of here, man. I ain't hearing that shit. I'm not going for it. In the back of a bar?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You ever seen some of these dives? I went to a professional fight at the Shrine Auditorium once. That was kind of weird to me. They put a boxing ring in the Shrine Auditorium, and it was technically a professional fight.
I can't get past fighting in the back of a bar.
Oh yeah,
You call yourself a professional fighter.
the bar fights are the funniest ones.
Oh man!
But that's where you start off as when you're 0-0, you take some of those fights.
You start off fighting a drunk.
Yeah.
Oh,
you get your record up to 10-0. That's what most fighters do. They get their record up to 10-0. Then you increase the quality of your opponents.
That's wild.
And then you keep increasing the quality of your opponents. But hey, 600 increased the quality of his opponent for sure. Fighting Victor Faust. And let me just play a little bit of before we play the clip of the fight. I just want to play a little bit of 600 just
got something to say
talking.
about 600,
Listen.
right? This, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Listen, anybody want to squabble? Anybody. I don't care how old you are, how tall you are, how big you are, whatever. Anybody want to squabble, we can squabble. I got a date, October in LA. All y'all be popping it. All y'all be popping it. And from everywhere, y'all be popping it. So listen, if you want to squabble, bro, let's see how tough you are, bro. And I'm going to pay you. I'm going to give you more than you got in your bank account.
What?
I'm going to pay you. Nice bag, you know what I mean? But let's just squabble though, you know what I'm saying? Anybody, I don't care. See, I don't care about where you from, how tall you are, how big you are, all that, whatever, bro. We both got two hands.
All right, so that's 600. This was
Trying to redeem himself.
No, this is a video. This is an older video.
Oh, this is before you got beat up?
Yeah, this is before. It just I just wanted to play that just to show like the confidence that this guy has in his fighting skills and his ability. And
well, I got confidence in my bro. My boy Perion J. Key will whoop him, and he ready. October. Look, if they tap in and set a date, and he ain't not doing a 4 extra thing, oh, he fight him, he ain't got no clout. All right, but if he ain't doing that, my boy Perion J. Key will whoop 600. I got my money on my boy.
Okay.
October, he said, or some shit.
Well, I think Cartoon should be the first in line, and I got Cartoon.
600 said they not able to fight because of his age.
Man, well, Cartoon is 20 years older than 600. I think Cartoon is 60. 600 just turned 41. I think Cartoon might be turning 61 this year. So let's say 19, 20-year difference. I get it. Nobody 60 years old should be in the ring.
Man, F that. He want to fight, let's fight.
But it's 600. 600 is not going to do any damage.
He'll give you a hug.
So I would approve the fight with 600 and Cartoon 5'3".
But I'm hearing that boxing commissioners wouldn't let it go. You gotta wear headgear. That I didn't know they put stipulations on shit. Like I'm thinking it's an exposition fight, so anybody can fight.
Man, I hope Cartoon saw this clip and wants to do whatever it takes to make the
Cartoon down. It's 600. You're making up excuses, bro. Christopher Lovejoy.
Hey, if they need to wear head masks, if they need to make the gloves a little bit thicker, let's do it. But here, let me play this clip. This fight didn't last. This was a first round knockout that lasted about 15 seconds. Boom. That's it. He's down. He's getting counted out. He comes up to his butt. And he's counted out to 10. And he tries to get up, and he stumbles and almost falls down again. And what's crazy is 600 threw the first punch. He threw a soft little left, and the Ukrainian dude countered, and just on the money. And then 600's right knee just buckles as soon as the Ukrainian guy lands that right hand, and he just falls down. Definitely boxing might not be
his strong point.
Not anymore, but
15 seconds though. You went down in 15 seconds.
Yeah, so I don't know if 600 is. Did he respond? Has he?
Yeah,
made
he said it was AI.
Oh, is that right?
It's AI. Whack. They fell for it. Whack.
Nah.
That ain't AI, bro. That's you. That's you.
Yeah, shit. He said it's AI, but it's funny. Hey, you know what's crazy is I found a book the other day on my shelf that belongs to 600's older brother. I just found the book. Nah, 600 actually. See, this is what made me even realize this. I might even know this guy's brother because the last name Lovejoy.
Right.
Lovejoy is not a very common last name.
Right.
And when I was in high school, I knew a guy named Cornell Lovejoy.
Okay.
And I always thought about Cornell Lovejoy when I would hear Christopher Lovejoy. Never thought they were related. And then one day I'm watching a video where someone says that Cornell Lovejoy was a relative of 600. I was like, oh shoot.
And
So
you know Cornell.
I know Cornell very well from just growing up in L.A. We went to high school together. He lived off of he lived in the schoolyard neighborhood, but he left a book at my house once. The book was I forget the title of the book, but it was about changing your identity.
Right.
It was just about. It was like some shady shit. I was flipping through the book the other day, and I was thinking, I don't know if this book is legal. You know, because some books are considered illegal.
Yeah, because certain books they wouldn't let get in the pen. Like 48 Laws of Power at one point they wouldn't let. You know what I'm saying? But changing your identity. I wonder what the name of that book was.
Let me think. I think it was called. And it was like different volumes, and I had the third volume. I read some of it, and I just remember. Yeah, it's really good. I just remember Cornell was into this stuff. Cornell Lovejoy, that was my boy. He never repped a gang, never claimed a gang, even though he lived smack dab in the middle of a gang neighborhood. I knew him from L.A. High, because everyone that lived on my side of town, we all went to L.A. High briefly. He went to L.A. High. All the schoolyards go to L.A. High. That whole schoolyard neighborhood. Actually, L.A. High should be dominated by schoolyards because it's right. Schoolyard hood is right behind L.A. High. But for a while, it was all kind of different people going to L.A. High. And that's where I met Cornell Lovejoy. And I think when he went to prison, I lost contact with the brother and ain't talked to him in like 20 years.
He out now?
Yeah, he's out now. And that's
why the hell Lovejoy connect y'all?
I told him to have him holler back at me, and he never did. And that's why I called 600 one day just to let him know, just to ask him, is it true? And he was like, yeah. I was like, wow.
Is it true where he got knocked out?
No. Is it true that Cornell is his brother? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because Cornell, I mean, it would be his like older brother, because Cornell is older than me by maybe like 2 years, and so that there must have been a big gap between, moms having these two kids. But nah, he was a cool dude.
I don't know how old 600 is though.
41. It says there on his boxing record he's 41.
Okay.
So Cornell Lovejoy's in his late 50s.
Oh, so Lovejoy was born in 84.
No. Oh yeah. Christopher Lovejoy probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think his boxing career needs to come to a halt. You're gonna get yourself hurt unless you go down to Tijuana and continue doing those fights. Right?
Fighting in the back of a bar is crazy. Organized fight in the back of a bar is crazy. All right.
Last thing I want to talk about is what do you think about this juror, this black juror on the Diddy trial, being excused and replaced by an alternate? The judge actually excused the juror. It wasn't a request made by the prosecution. The judge noticed something that wasn't matching up and brought him to the side, asked him a few questions, didn't like the answers regarding his residence, and excused him. Juror number 6.
Well, you know that was purposely done, like we all know. You know what I'm saying? Because the probability of a hung jury, anything, because you got 2 black jurors, and then why you just now catching us 3 weeks into the jury? I mean, to the trial, 3 weeks into it.
Well, apparently the juror had a conversation talking about, oh man, I had a long commute in from New Jersey.
Whoa.
Don't know who. He said it though. It was like New Jersey. What are you doing commuting from New Jersey? No one from New Jersey should be on the jury. So I guess that's what initially alerted.
So one of them Oreos, then not even Oreos. One of them white people then gave them up.
It's possible. It's possible. But the defense fought to keep him on, and they were unsuccessful in their quest to keep him on.
It's toe up. They know what they did. They know the courts know what they was doing.
What you mean by that?
They purposely got rid of a black juror. You know what I'm saying?
You'd have to be able to, if you don't have concrete evidence, then it's kind of hard to say that if it's deliberate, you know?
I think I ran across he was living in two places, or his girl just lived in Jersey and he lived in New York. And he I don't know, man, but either way, they knew what they was doing.
But the judge feels confident that it won't come up on an appeal because it's not based on race.
It might come up in my channel on how they so I want to know, they need to check everybody's addresses, all of them.
Yeah, they ask you all these questions when you're in.
So why did y'all catch it 3 weeks later?
Because he didn't say, I'm living in Jersey. They ask him. They ask every juror, "What's your address?"
Where you staying at and where you living at is different.
He gave an address for New York. He gave a Bronx address.
But I think he be staying with his girl in Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Is that a crime? You live in New York.
All right, let me play this one clip from CBS News regarding this juror that got kicked off.
A juror in the Sean Diddy Combs trial has been dismissed today over concerns about where he actually lives. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman is live from outside the courthouse this morning for us. So, Katrina, what's going on here?
Vlad, so juror number 6 has been dismissed, and what happened is he gave some inconsistent statements about where he lives. Originally during voir dire, he said that he lived in the Bronx. Then he recently told someone at the courthouse that he lived in New Jersey. There's also been some inconsistencies about who he's living with, and all of this leads the judge to believe that there's a potential lack of candor here. He said that it gives him concerns about other answers of this juror and whether he's trying to shade the answers that he's given to the court in order to be on this jury. And if he has an agenda, the judge says that could undermine the entire trial, Vlad. So as a result, the jurors being dismissed. There was a strong argument from Combs' team, though. One of his lawyers, Xavier Donaldson, said that this is a uniquely diverse jury in this courthouse, and he talked about how it's of the paramount importance that someone is judged by a jury that's representative of who they're making decisions about. So it's notable that the juror that was dismissed is a black male. He's being replaced with a white male, and they're worried about how this hurts the diversity of the jury, although it does still remain a very diverse jury, Vlad.
Super shady. You're not trying to get your kid into a school. You're supposed to be answering truthfully to serve on this jury. All right. Katrina,
what are you laughing at?
That's from CBS News.
You know how I feel.
Well, he slipped up and said Jersey, and he shouldn't have. If he was trying to cover that up.
Man, just because you came from your girl house, what address do his ID say? That's what I want to know. That's what's important.
Well, I don't know if they go by your ID, but
just because listen, bro. If I ain't mistaken, you live in New York and your girl's in New Jersey, and you came from your girl house.
That's probably fine.
I think that's what happened.
I think it had to be a little deeper than that for the judge to remove him. So there's definitely something about New Jersey that is that they're thinking is a permanent residence. He probably used to live in the Bronx, then moved to Jersey, and he got caught.
My brother astroglide back to New York for court from New Jersey.
Yeah, he got caught slipping, basically. He got caught slipping with his residential addresses. I got another clip here from from E! News.
6 is officially dismissed from the Sean Diddy Combs trial. The news comes a week after Judge Arun Subramanian raised concerns due to inconsistencies with the male juror's living situation, and he was officially let go from the main panel of jurors June 16th. Subramanian said the juror, a 41-year-old black male, provided a conflicting account of where he lived, which is either in New York City within the bounds of the Southern District of New York or with his girlfriend in New Jersey. After the dismissal, more concerns arose, including conversations the juror may have allegedly had with a colleague about Diddy's case. The juror, who had his phone confiscated by the judge June 13th, was replaced by someone from the alternate pool, a 57-year-old male accountant from Westchester. With the former juror number 6 being a 41-year-old black man, Diddy's defense argued in a 14-page appeal filed June 15th that there was, quote, no valid basis to dismiss him, and removing him would affect the diversity of the jury. The letter notes in part, quote, we understand the court has refused to find any discriminatory motive in the government's actions with respect to its preemptory strikes or this motion. However, we respectfully and regrettably disagree. However, the judge addressed the argument, emphasizing, quote, this jury does not raise those concerns. The process to get a jury worked and worked wonderfully. Follow E! Online for the latest updates in the Sean Diddy Combs case.
See?
Hey, he's gonna pop out and start giving some interviews and breaking it down.
Hey, brother, tap into StreetTV, man. Alex Alonso want to have a talk with you, man. I believe you spend some nights and you stay with your girlfriend when it's convenient, and you live in New York.
Well,
you came from court from New Jersey to New York, and then they just nitpicked with you, bro.
But he should have just explained that to the judge. If he would have just said what you just said, I live in New York, I'm just visiting somebody in New Jersey, he wouldn't have got kicked off for that. It has to be a little bit more deeper.
It ain't got to be more deeper. It's supposed to be more deeper. It ain't got to be. You know, them people do what they want to do.
Well, then that means that if it's true what you're saying, this whole case can get overturned. And I don't think that why would a judge wouldn't want to risk getting a whole case overturned?
He didn't want to risk no mistrial or no, you know what I'm saying? Because you got 2 black jurors and it's go. They looking at his demeanor, his posture, and like, oh, he's seeing it his way. They got him up out of there.
Well, then that's more riskier to get rid of a juror. Most of the time, a judge is going to want to keep a juror, unless he absolutely has to get rid of him because they don't want to get a case overturned under their watch. It's embarrassing. Let's say he's found guilty, Diddy is, and then they bring up this jury situation where this juror was kicked off illegally, let's say. That means that this judge made a huge mistake and embarrassing his track record. And I don't think a judge wants to take that risk. I think the judge looked at all options and said, nah, I have to let you go. And I think he covered his bases. We're going to find out. Because whatever that 15-page document that the defense submitted, that's going to be public.
14. Yeah.
14 page, that's going to be public any moment now. And we'll see. But if it's true what you're saying and Diddy's found guilty, he can get his conviction overturned.
Hey, I got people laughing, right? I said, man, Alex said, and he wasn't being funny. Yeah, man. The only people yelling free Diddy is you and Kanye.
Yeah.
Oh, man, come on, man.
No, I'm not completely opposed to him beating this case.
I think he's not gonna completely beat it. He's not gonna get. It's too many charges, and all of them, it ain't all gonna stick, and he not gonna get washed and nailed like people think.
Man, I just heard the testimony of the remember the guy that got caught when Diddy got in his house raided. They took some dude into custody at the airport. I think it was a white guy.
Okay.
He testified. Either he testified, yeah,
for the defense or prosecution.
He's the guy that was supplying the drugs. I believe it was the guy that was caught.
So for the prosecution,
yeah,
he's trying to stay free.
So all the drug stuff that came in, it's not looking good. And this guy Diddy spent a lot of money on like Molly, pills, whatever other things he was.
The party pack.
Man, so and then getting the drugs from LA to Miami, ooh, right there, that right there is transportation of illegal drugs.
I want to know I want to know. Okay, you say from L.A. The dude that was supplying.
I don't know where he's from, but I believe there was some testimony about bringing drugs from Los Angeles, getting all the pills and stuff from L.A. and bringing it to a Miami spot.
Okay.
So that's a huge blow to the Diddy defense, and then of course the arson. That's a huge blow if you believe it. If you believe what's his name, Kid Cudi.
No comment.
Yeah.
I hate the.
If Kid Cudi came off believe, I never heard any of the people that were in the courtroom saying that it seemed like he was bullshitting.
I mean the assistant corroborated the story.
Oh yeah. That she did too. Capricorn Clark. But you believe that people be conspiring against defendants?
Yeah, I believe.
Tory Lanez.
I believe the Capricorn woman and Cudi got a relationship, and because she knew the whole time that Cassie was dealing with him, so they talking outside the court anyway. That's what I believe.
Also, you thought they conspired against Tory Lanez.
Hold on, who I say conspired?
Well, it would have to be Megan and Kelsey.
Nah, not quite Megan and Kelsey. I think Megan felt guilty and she knows she was in the wrong. And I believe she felt guilty because it's her fault. She crossed her and dealt with this dude, and she was drunk. Her, on top of her being intoxicated, and then she did the little backstabbing stuff for the second time, hitting the dude that she dealt with, and she felt guilty, so she trying to keep Kelsey up out of it, and she refused to say Kelsey shot her, which I believe Kelsey did.
Okay, but then Kelsey, she told a story that matches Megan's story.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Kelsey didn't tell on Tory.
She didn't tell on Tory when she testified, but they played an interview she gave for the prosecutors months prior. So yeah, she came and then the reason the prosecution said the reason why we're getting a different story from Kelsey is because this dude Tory Lanez has bribed her to not testify against him.
But on record, she never accepted a bribe.
Well, we don't know because
when I say on record, I'm talking about on the recordings.
What do you mean?
On the recordings, called her from jail and all that. Like, there's no record of that.
No, there's a record of Tory Lanez and Kelsey meeting up for him to return some of the luggage that was left in the SUV. There was a lot of her belongings in the car, and there was a belief that they made some sort of negotiation or deal when they met up face to face. And then Megan was so upset. She was like, "Wow, you met this guy face to face after the shooting?"
Right.
No, she found out through the whole court case. So she was like, "Wow, this guy." But she didn't realize she was meeting him to get her luggage that was left in the SUV. So there's all these allegations about bribing, and then they wanted to charge Tory Lanez. They wanted to add another charge, and the judge said, "Nah, I'm not gonna."
All right. So let's just say that I'm Michael and you're Sean, and then this girl in comment, and I done backdoored you twice, man, and now I'm getting cracked, and I done did it again for the second time. So I'm intoxicated, and all this is really my fault because I didn't let it go from nothing to 100. So I don't want to put Sean in this because I know it all stemmed from me being very out of my mind drunk. So I'm keeping you out of it, and I'm mad at him. And then, you know what I'm saying, on some DMP. When I say DMP, I mean DICK and PSSY type. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I believe it went the way it went. Kelsey got on the stand and did what she's supposed to do and told the truth.
No, when she got on the stand and was answering the questions, she sounded like she was lying for almost every question she was answering.
It sounded like she was defending herself.
No, it sounded like she was.
Why would a person need immunity if she not even questioning shooting somebody?
The immunity, we believe, because
immunity is for people that what?
Immunity is for people who don't want to cooperate.
No. What's the rest? Immunity is for people that what?
That don't want to cooperate.
Potential snitches. Well, they is snitches, and they got some type of involvement with the crime.
Well, they're not potential snitches. If they don't want to cooperate, they don't want to snitch. So then they're forced to testify.
They give immunity to people. What type of people? Come on,
people who don't want to cooperate. That's the main underlying.
But you have to have some type of like some percentage of like involvement.
No, you could have zero guilt in a case. You could have zero guilt and still give them immunity. Zero guilt. So that's another part of it. You don't have to be guilty.
You tripping, bro?
No, one of the reasons why they thought she had was given immunity.
What's the definition of immunity?
Okay.
Immunity means the ability of an organism to resist a particular infection or toxin by the action of specific
you got the medical immunity
or sensitized white blood cells.
That's the medical immunity, like our immune system.
I never knew about that type of immunity, but bro, for you to be to have immunity, you have to have you have to have some type of involvement.
Yeah, some type.
Like giving you some leeway to snitch.
I'll give you an example of what Kelsey's immunity might have been for. There is an allegation that she did accept a financial bribe from Tory Lanez. That's considered illegal. After you already gave your statement to the police and to the DA, now you're going to change it. And you're changing it because you received a bribe. She went to the back with the judge. The judge took Kelsey Harris to chambers and asked her about why you don't want to cooperate. What's this immunity all about? And that's a conversation that is sealed. We don't know. But we do know it's not. She didn't go back there and admit I shot her, because that would have changed the whole trajectory of the course. The judge wouldn't have allowed the prosecution to continue. She went back there and said, he bribed me, and I don't want to say that I accepted a bribe, and that's because I can get in trouble for that. And then she came back out and continued testifying.
All right, before you wrap it up, name 3 people that's a case that the world would know about that got immunity.
3 people?
Right, because Keefy D don't count. Because that wasn't immunity, that was some other shit.
I'll give you one that was related to Suge Knight. When Bone,
okay,
they brought Bone to the preliminary hearing. Bone said, I don't want to testify. I don't want to cooperate. And they told him, they forced him to testify, and they gave him immunity.
Okay, they gave him immunity because he might have some type of guilt. And he might have some type of, you know what I'm saying?
No, he was a victim.
But it's said that it's been said that he's the cause of all this happening, so he got immunity. That's what I'm saying. People that get immunity, they got some type of like involvement.
Yeah, I mean, Kelsey had involvement.
They saying that Bone, he may or may not have had a pistol, and that's why he and pulled off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So immunity, they not gonna give nobody like me immunity.
It depends what the case. I know another.
They will offer it, cause I'm with baby so and so, and then I might have gave him a knife 3 hours earlier. Then later that night he stabbed somebody with it, and they go give me immunity. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some type of involvement and look like on the guilty side.
Well, in some cases you can get immunity and be 0% guilty. Wives are automatically given immunity.
That's and I love my second baby mama. We now divorced, but I got married to her for the right reasons. But that was one of them too, because she know a lot of what I got going on, and you can't force your what you want to call it, a spouse.
Well, I shouldn't call it immunity. They're not.
That's their right.
They're not forced to testify.
You can't force your wife to testify, but they don't. A lot of people don't know the law, and then they will have them get up there, and they not knowledgeable.
Okay, I saw this one case where the baby mama, I guess a crime happened with her baby daddy. He comes to her place. She's privy to whatever happened. They brought her to court to testify about what happened when he came to your house, and she says, "I don't want to testify. I don't want to be a part of this at all." She's 100% innocent, but she has information about what had happened after this crime was committed, and the judge said, "If you don't testify, I'm going to hold you in contempt." And then he said, "I'm giving you immunity. This immunity means you have no choice. You can't plead the fifth anymore. That's okay. That's another thing that immunity does. It takes away your ability to plead the fifth.
Okay, I got two things to say, right?
Yeah.
Because in 2011 I was in prison and I got subpoenaed down because I got shot in 2010, and the detective came back there, like, you know why you down here? I said, no, not really. Well, you got shot on Halloween in Hollywood in 2010. Hey man, look, bro, I was comfortable in the pink. You sent me back to where I came from. I plead the fifth. He said, you can't plead the fifth. When you plead the fifth, that means you have something to do with the crime and you don't want to incriminate yourself. You're a victim. How you gonna plead the fifth? Right? So I'm like, all right, well, let's go. And I just went in there and just fucked their whole shit up. But then the second thing is something called a material witness. Me and Alex, we went to go put in some work, and then Alex did his thing, and I was with him. And then I'm a snitch, and they ain't gonna all of my testimony, they ain't gonna hold it against me as long as I say everything that Alex did. But that's the same thing as immunity, though, in a sense.
Pleading the fifth?
No, immunity and being a material witness.
Well, being a material witness means that you have information that will help the prosecution, but doesn't necessarily mean you're guilty of a crime. Like a witness. Let's say a person who witnesses a crime. They just happen to be sitting on the bus stop. They witnessed the whole thing, but they don't want to cooperate. They can force that person to cooperate.
Yeah, they put a manhold on you or whatever.
Look, let me read this. Pleading the fifth refers to a person's right under the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution to refuse to answer questions that could incriminate them. The right is a core protection against self-incrimination and can be exercised in various legal settings, including police questioning, grand jury proceedings, and both criminal and civil trials. When a person pleads the fifth, they are asserting their constitutional right to remain silent in response to specific questions. It doesn't necessarily mean...
So that's what he's saying. I'm not incriminating myself. He said, you're not even involved. How you pleading the fifth and you have nothing to do with the case? You're the victim. I got shot. You know what I'm saying?
But you're allowed to still remain silent.
No. That's not even a question with me. But I'm just saying. But and then I said, nah. But then they was like, all right, we just gonna keep you down here in this county jail to the end of the trial. And I wanted to get back to the pen where it's comfortable and it's a TV. Now I'm like, all right, let's go. And I went in there. And then I told him what I told him at the hospital. I don't know who shot me. But guess what? My dad was there. And I looked to the back of the courtroom. My dad was sitting there. I didn't know he was going to be there. He was there just in case they were like, oh, my son snitched or whatever, right? So before I get in there, and this what DAs are. They narrators. They're movie Tubi writers, right? They paint a picture. Because before I got in there, the DA explained to the jury that gangbangers, they got this thing where they don't snitch and it's frowned upon and right? And then when I got up there and I left out of court, see, I told you, gangbangers don't tell. They don't. After they didn't put the big picture of me on a projector with gang tats, is that you? I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd I get that picture from?
Well, I think Kelsey accepted a bribe. It seemed like a lot of evidence was pointing towards that. Shit, if you listen to her statement she gave to the DA, shoot, it was 180 from what she said on the stand. So they're gonna play your statement in front of the jury, the one that you wanna like hide. You can't hide that previous statement. They'll read it or they'll play it.
But the one you say on the stand is the one that matter.
No.
Yeah, man.
No.
And it's inconsistency. Help me out.
Inconsistency.
That. So, bro, without beyond a reasonable doubt, man, hey, bro, they not sticking to the letter of the law.
No, the one you stay on the stand sometimes doesn't matter. They even played when Kelsey was testifying. The prosecution said, "Wait, hold up. Let me play what you said about this same question earlier." And they play it, and then she'll say some stuff like, "I don't remember that." Or, I mean, it just sounded stupid. You don't remember this whole 1 hour interview you gave the DA. where you were comfortable, you volunteered.
Where's she at? She ain't did no interviews. That's smart.
She did one interview, and obviously they agreed not to talk about the case. But
so what's there to talk about? She don't do music.
It was the most boring interview. I reached out to her to do an interview, but obviously she don't want to interview with someone that has.
So if that being our best friend, is she originally from Houston too, or you don't know?
Yeah, she's from Texas. That they met in Texas.
Man, I know Kelsey probably look good.
She's cool.
Got
She's
a
cool.
Little booty on her.
If you like them, she's like 4'11".
Yeah, when they shorter, they thicker.
Yeah,
she's
4'11" and very curvy. I think she got a little too much ass.
No, it ain't enough. Wait.
Yeah. Sometimes you got too much.
What?
Yeah.
So you think she got some work done?
No. I think it's natural. I think she's all natural. She's natural. She's just a little thick.
I'm gonna find Kelsey.
But yeah, I think she accepted some money from Tory. Yep.
Kelsey, I eat groceries, girl. Von's groceries only though. No food for less.
But you know about them reading your previous statements in court. You've heard that before. They're gonna read your previous statements.
Once the DA hear that, they supposed to know some inconsistencies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but sometimes they put a lot of weight towards that first statement you made.
When you in them interrogation rooms, it's more intimate. Like, and it's more pressure on you, so you might saying what you want, what they want you to say. But now you in the open courtroom is you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is a different setting, but
so the jury's supposed to take that into consideration. That you got these two dudes in suits being very firm with this lady that's dainty and that's never been in trouble before. You're supposed to take that into consideration, bro.
I would agree if they had like a aggressive interrogation of her. But shit, this wasn't even in a police station. She gave a statement at the DA's office around a bunch of DAs. I don't even think the police were even present. And she came with her dude. She came with her boy or husband.
Husband? How'd she get a husband that fast?
She actually married that guy.
What guy?
I don't know who this guy is, but he came to court when Kelsey testified. He was there. He was sitting right there. And the prosecution actually made it seem like, look, you came with your husband. You were comfortable. You came voluntarily. This was not the police. This was the DA. And you gave an hour statement about what happened that night. And you said Tory shot Megan. You said they were arguing. You said they were fighting. They were arguing about who's a better artist. They was dissing each other's careers. It went up between them two when
Megan could never diss Tory Lanez's career.
She dissed him saying all you got was a collab with this white artist, and I can't remember his name. But they were going back and forth about who had the better career. And then when she came to court, I don't remember that. I don't remember saying that. Well, would you like us to play it for you? Sure, you could play it. Oh yeah, I did say that then, but I don't remember saying that. You know, it just sounded ridiculous. They're playing her own interview in front of her, and she's denying what she said.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm on some hater shit right now. You said she married?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I ain't gonna lie, I'm on some hater shit. Damn, she got married fast between that incident with Megan, and then when the court proceedings started with the child. She got married fast.
The incident happened in 2020, and in 2022.
When did the child start?
2022. So 2 years later.
2 years she got married, but when was this interrogation?
2022. It wasn't. She got
interrogated twice.
She got
one time wasn't so receptive, and the other time it was.
Yeah, I mean, this was really the first interview she gave.
She was dodging their calls for a long time.
She was dodging them. And then she eventually pulled up in person, and they recorded a whole interview with her.
Well, hey, you know, I got a lot of snitch jackets in my closet, and I like to put them on people if they fit. I wouldn't really call Kelsey a snitch, bro.
Well, nah, because she's a civilian. I know you don't buy.
Yeah, I don't buy into the civilian thing either, but she tried to hold her ground. She, she was dodging them for a long time, and then she might have had the pressure of the boyfriend at the time, like, you know what I'm saying? And then she tried to make it right at court. So no. So I wouldn't put that on Kelsey. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think she tried to make it right at court, as you say, because between the interview she gave to the DA and the time she came to trial, there was allegedly a bribe that was received.
I believe she got her luggage before the like. What you mean before when? See, that depends when she got her luggage.
Oh, they got
I think she got her luggage way early on.
Nah, they got the timeline on all this. Oh well, the luggage was
The luggage had to be had before she met up with the DA.
The luggage was early on.
So she breached contract with Tory Lanez.
Yeah, but there was also communication between Tory's people and Kelsey. I believe that came up that someone reached out to her, and then she was trying to deny it. But then it just sounded like a bunch of lies. Okay. It was just a bunch of lies.
What's her last name? Could you put it up for me?
Kelsey Harris.
Oh, Kelsey Harris. That's her last name?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, man.
And I can guarantee you that she will not do interviews on this topic. She will never want to talk about this topic.
Nah, I respect it. Leave it alone.
Because she's gonna get caught in a whole bunch of tongue twisters.
The world gonna know you shot that girl in the foot.
No, I think the world's gonna.
We gonna go on for another hour.
The world's gonna know that she accepted a bribe from Tory.
Bro, look, Alex say tomato, I say tomato, bro.
All right.
That girl shot that girl. She got basketball size. It was heated, and you not about to just walk up on her. She shot at the ground. Not even at her. She shot at the ground, and ricochet hit her foot, and that's what it is.
Well, unfortunately, the driver decided not to testify in court, and then now he decides to make a statement outside of court that Tory wasn't the shooter. That would have helped in court. But it doesn't help outside of court.
But I always heard plead the fifth. I'm like, it sound cool. I heard in movies. I'm like, I'll plead the fifth. They're like, you're not even involved. How you pleading the fifth? You not a suspect. You not know where. I'm like, man. But I still did the right thing.
All right. So what's some of the latest content you working on, Munchie?
Oh man, I had a couple of reactions and a couple of rebuttals. I just Ron Mack out the Bay Area. I interviewed him. It's about to come out soon, so check that out on Munchie B, the mayor, YouTube channel. And I'm just knocking out content, man. I got the song with Perryon J. Key, myself featuring Lil Boosie, Red Lambo. Everywhere you can click on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Just type in Munchie B, Red Lambo. Just me, Perryon, and Lil Boosie, and you know what I'm saying. We doing it up, and I need to do a theme song for straight politicking, just leading into here, a quick little 15 seconds, you know what I'm saying? And we go, you know what I'm saying?
And everybody been tapping with you also on the No Jumper show?
Yeah, I'm there everywhere. I'm there like air. I'm there like air every Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? With the Oreo branding, you know what I'm saying? Lush, you know what I'm saying? He coming half high, the white boy, the porn star, Adam, we up there, you know what I'm saying? Yep, I'm everywhere like I'm working. You know what I'm saying?
All right, tap in with Munchie B on all those different platforms. I'm Alex Alonso 101 on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I guess you could check out what I got. I got the Mad Ronald interview, which is dope. I got No Sense from Rolling 40s, who was H Crown's brother. That's a dope interview. Make sure you tap in with Straight Politicking last episode with Nina Berretta if you haven't already seen that.
Hold on, excuse me. Okay, Richard Hart, the last episode. Mariah Hayes, Anisha Handy. Go check that out. That's the type of content I like to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like talking about current events and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to go back and forth with people. That's what I prefer to do right there. You know what I'm saying? And then check out the interview with Anisha Handy from 2019. You know what I'm saying? Just type in StreetTV, Anisha Handy, it'll pop up. And then along with the recent interview I did with her, you know what I'm saying, when she helped me and Mariah carry the load.
Definitely. I was just about to say that interview with the Richard Hart episode with Alnisha, it actually has the links to her 2019 interview. So make sure you tap in with that. And that concludes another episode of Straight Politicking, and we out.